Morning everybody, it's Saturday morning and I thought I'd take this opportunity to thank you for all the views and the remarks and the comments. Great stuff, the channel's growing, I'm really pleased. Now I have a confession to make. I forgot to put the part in the last video before I put the swinging arm in. I forgot to show you the bits where I assembled it and greased it all up. It's not a major issue, well, I hope it isn't, but it would have been nice to put that in. I may do a short video over the next couple of days just to show you what I did there, but again, it's not a big issue. You're just putting the grease around the bushes, putting all the bushes in, and then putting the caps on the top. If you want to see it, then do drop me a remark or a comment in the bottom. Let me know what you want to see, because as we go through this project, there's going to be areas where, as I said before, and I say again, you get so engrossed in what you're doing, you're not quite sure whether the camera's running, the camera's not running. Have you covered it? Have you not covered it? Are you repeating yourself? Are you going around in circles, wasting time when you should be doing other bits to the bike? It gets sometimes tedious, but having said that, I enjoy doing it, but I've got to try and keep track of how I do it and clips in the right order. And sometimes, you know, they go astray or they get muddled up. I'm trying to do my best, but bear with me. I hope you do enjoy what you see anyway. Now, today, as I said, is Saturday, and I thought I'd just put everybody, or let everybody know about that. What I intend to do today is just recap on some of it. Now, yesterday, I had the wheel on here and I was doing the bearings. This is on the rear wheel. We checked the spokes. The spokes are quite tight, but there was a couple there that seemed to be a little bit, shall we say, out of true. So I've tightened them up, I've tapped them, I've put a dial gauge, which I've put away now, on the wheel and spun it, and it's probably about, I believe it's in its limits. I need to check that, but it is very, very, you can't see it with the eye. It's not seeable when you look at the rim. You can only see the dial gauge going up and down, and I think it's going up and down by about, I don't know, 20 thou, 50 thou, something like that. It's nothing. I'm really not too worried about that. So that's what we did yesterday. What am I going to do today? I'm going to finish off the wheel probably this afternoon, but this is just a piece of camera to, you know, to let you know where we are. Sorry about forgetting the greasing of the bushes. As I said, I may do that later and then put it in as a short video. Right guys, just to show you exactly what we've done here, put the gaskets on. We've also put the cam chain sprocket guides, or guide sprockets, whichever you want to call them, and on these little ends of these shafts, I don't know if you can see that, but there's little rubbers there and there, and the shafts are like half moon ends, so these press down, hold them in place when you put the cam chain up through the cylinder head, and obviously it helps keep it all taut and tight. So that's where we are there. So I'm now about to put the cylinder head on. Everything's checked and rechecked. I haven't put the tensioner in yet. That's wrong. I've done as much as I can as far as this bit's concerned. I'm just about to put the cylinder head on. We need to feed this cam chain up, of course, without disturbing any of these guide sprockets, and we'll see how we go. Right folks, coming through with the cylinder head here. Much the same as I took the other old one off, I'm going to see if I can balance it on the studs and then feed the cam chain tunnel up through. The most important thing here is not to drop that cam chain into the engine. Probably got a bit too much hopefully we can feed it up with this blue wire. Need to have a bit of slack, so there's a little bit of play there to feed it up through. Right, here we go. This all comes down to patience. Still a bit cockeyed, that's fair enough. Now I'm going to feed that up with a bit of luck through the cylinder head. Taking care not to let it slip. Right, it's come up through the cylinder head, so I'm just going to tie it up to give me my hands free to lower it down. Just checking the O-ring. Just going to take you off the stand, guys, so you can see what's going on down. Okay, what we must be careful of is these little chaps. We mustn't catch the cam chain on either the front one or the back one, because if these little rubbers come out and go down into the bore, then it's pretty safe to say we've got a problem. So the cam chain is up through the cylinder head. So now I'm going to see if I can lower the head onto the block. I'm going to put you back in the tripod. I think you'll probably see more from there than where I was. This dowel here must mate in this hole. Okay, bear with me. Here we go. And he's down. Still got me cam chain. Everything's tickety-boo there. Just give it a gentle tap. That's gone down very well. The O-ring didn't move. And that's that. The next stage, we'll be putting our copper washers on. Going to anneal them first, so they give you a bit of tension, and seal, because this is a wheelway at the back that feeds the cam bearings. So that's it for now. I'll be back later. Right, the cylinder head's on. That's all been done, but what I need to do now, folks, I've turned the main spotlight off, which may be a bit of a problem when it comes to seeing this. I've got 12 copper washers here, and you can use these again. Let me just move that bottle of water out of the way. You can use these again, but in order to use them, you need to anneal them so that it gives them the sponginess, and to do that we need to get them cherry red and then drop them in this cold water. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to do a couple, then I'll obviously, rather than just waste footage, I'll stop. So what I'm going to do is put the blow lamp on, pick him up, and put them in the flame. Now I've turned the lights off so I can see it. I don't know if you can see that, but that's now glowing cherry red. And it's gone straight in the bin. Oh, I nearly burnt my fingers then because the spike's hot. What this does, I believe, this changes the molecular structure of the copper and gives it its sponginess back, so it can compress better and therefore give you a good seal. Just like a gasket, really. There it goes. When I take these out, they'll be covered in black, which is the copper, I believe they call it the copper oxide. So there we go. I'm sure you don't want to see me do all of them. I'll just do this one, get it cherry red. And he goes. We've cleaned these washers up, we nailed them, which, as I said earlier in the video, put them under a good blow lamp, flame, gas burner, whatever, get them cherry red and then drop them in cold water. And if you look down there, you'll see they're all nice and clean, all ready for their nuts, the cylinder head nuts. And then tomorrow I'll probably start torquing that down. But I've got to clean the nuts off first, guys, and then when that's done we can go back to it tomorrow. Right guys, I've got the cam caps on. I'm just going to oil these up. Doesn't need a lot, just a smidge. Do this one as well. You obviously don't want these dry, which is going to cause major problems. These are numbered 1, 2. If I get in the way of the shop, excuse me, but I've got to get in there to get to the bolts. Go careful if you do this because they can easily strip the threads. Little bit at a time. Try not to rush it. And all this is doing effectively on this particular lobe is pushing down the valve spring. You can tell when it's down because you tend to get a little bit of oil. This little bit here, this flat, where the cap seats down on the head. This is about feeling patience and looking at it carefully and doing it all even. So that's the exhaust. Right, the torque settings and the sequence of tightening up. When you look at this camshaft here, which is the outlet cam, I hope this camera's picking it up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But a little bit at a time, so the load as you tighten those caps down is spread across the whole camshaft. That's what I tend to do, and it seems to work quite well. Be careful, as I said earlier, I think I said earlier, it's very easy to strip one of these threads in the cylinder head. The timing marks, according to this diagram, which is the Kawasaki manual, that first line there is the marker. I hope you can see that. It's the lower bit. And then your first pin is where that arrow points. I've drawn that in so it's a bit clearer, but that's number 1 pin. And as I said earlier, you go right way round to number 28 and it's on the arrow. The arrow is marked on the camshaft. The torque settings for these caps. If we look here, it says partially tighten the left cap bolt first to seat the camshaft in place. Fully tighten all the bolts with either 104 inches per pound or 1.2 kilograms per meter of torque. Follow the tightening order shown in the diagram. Now that makes it pretty clear on how to do this bit. The sequence for tightening, as I explained earlier, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, is the same for the inlet cam as it is on the outlet cam. For those of you who are very, very sharp on the visions, can anybody see, and do drop it in the comment, what error I made there? No, don't drop it in the comment, I'm going to tell you, because if you go through this, I don't want you making the same error and causing a problem with the motorcycle. I left the rev counter takeoff in, which is on a worm gear. That's a big no-no. You may get away with it, you may not. If you don't, it will cause them some damage. I was lucky. I forgot to take that out and I got away with it. But I strongly recommend you take that out before you start tightening the caps. I will check them with a torque wrench, but this gives me an idea. That's enough. If I torque that, I'd probably be very close to the mark there. I will do later, but let's get the other camshaft caps in. First thing I need to do is oil the bearings. If you look closely, just out of interest, guys, you'll see there's a hole in these camshafts. These are hollow, which, according to my research, makes these genuine Z1 camshafts. The later ones were solid. Don't know why, but they were. Perhaps they thought there was more strength in them. Right, let's go and get the caps. Right folks, back in the workshop. It's Saturday afternoon. I just thought I'd clear up something because I think I might have made a bit of a boo-boo, I'm not sure. I put this cam was in one tooth out. It's very easy to do. What I did, instead of using that pin there as number 1 pin, I use that one. So consequently, this was one pin out that way. What you should do, and what I should have done in the first place, is put that one as the marker, but use that one as number 1 pin. So then you count from 1, 2, 3, right way round, obviously without that on there, to 28. And 28 goes on that marker there, the arrow where it says 28, which is common sense really. But that one there is where your 28 pin, so that would be number 28 pin. And you can check that by looking at the lobes when it's on T14, and it needs to be on T14 to check this. This lobe will be mirrored from that lobe. In other words, that one's pointing to that one and that one's pointing to that one. And also, if you look carefully, there's a little mark there and there's a little mark there, and they will probably be much in the same place but mirrored. So these lobes are mirrored and those marks are mirrored in much the same place. Just to clear that up, because I think I may have done it wrong first of all, and I'm hoping now that you get that, because the last thing you want to do is turn this engine over with the valve timing wrong. Now, going back to the cam caps, I filmed this one going down, but I'm going to just give you an insight as to where they look when it's all done. Cap 1, cap 2, cap 3, cap 4, and if you look carefully, they are numbered on the casting, which is really useful. Don't get them muddled up, because they are machined in that position when they come out of the factory. Now this is a very old machine, as you know, so I couldn't swear what's happened in the past. I can only go by what I've got here. So I've kept them 1, 2, 3, 4 as it says in the manual. The torque for these bolts I will go and get from the manual. Right guys, that's it for now. I'm going to wrap it up. Thanks for viewing. Please do click the button below. Do hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so already. It's really nice to get those subscriptions, because obviously it helps the channel. It's free, you don't pay for it. Next time I'm going to be doing more work on the Z1, and I hope that you can come and join me. In the meantime, Gary at Gary's Practical Workshop saying bye for now. See you later. Cut. GoPro, turn off. GoPro, turn off. GoPro, if you don't turn off now, I'm going to smack your body. Perhaps I ought to get the command right. GoPro, stop recording.